out, you're a fraud. I don't give a fuck if your daughter has cancer. Get the hell out of here.
I never thought I'd stand before the HOA board, practically begging. But when your child's fighting cancer, pride becomes a luxury you can't afford. My little girl, Lily, had been in and out of chemo for months, and the bills were draining us dry. So I swallowed my ego and asked the HOA if they'd consider organizing a small fundraiser to help. Welcome to Prodigy Tales. Make sure you like and subscribe for your top-notch HOA drama. Before we dive in deeply, let us know in the comments where you're watching this story from. To my shock, Karen, yes, that Karen, queen of complaints, serial rule enforcer, and self-proclaimed moral compass of the neighborhood, agreed. She even stood up in the meeting and gave this Oscar-worthy speech about community love and standing together through hard times. If I didn't know better, I'd have thought she actually had a heart. She promised to organize the event herself, saying she had the right connections. I thanked her more times than I can count. For the first time, I thought maybe Karen wasn't as bad as everyone said. Maybe she just needed a chance to show a softer side. The fundraiser was set for Saturday night at the clubhouse. I expected a few neighbors and maybe some pocket change donations. But that night, people poured in. Families, couples, even folks from the next block. Everyone came with envelopes, baked goods, and hugs. The community showed up. And that's when I noticed Karen's smile twitch. At first, she was glowing, playing hostess like she owned a charity empire. But as the donations started stacking up and the thank yous started coming my way, that glow faded fast. Every time someone praised me or Lily, her jaw tightened just a little more. By the end of the night, you could practically see the steam coming out of her ears. Still, she forced a grin and said, "It's amazing how generous people can be when they believe in a cause." It sounded harmless at first, but the way she said believe, slow, sharp, made my stomach twist. I didn't realize it then, but that was the start of her jealousy. And jealousy, in Karen's hands, is like gasoline near a fire. Before we dive in deeply, please comment what country or city you're watching this story from. We'd like to know how far this story travels. The next morning, I actually woke up smiling, something I hadn't done in months. The fundraiser had been a success, and for the first time, there was enough money to cover Lily's next round of treatment. She was cheerful again, drawing in her hospital sketchbook, and I thought maybe, just maybe, life was turning around. Then at noon, my doorbell rang. And of course, it was Karen. She stood there with her shiny clipboard, her hair sprayed to the heavens, and that tight-lipped smile that could sour milk. "Morning," she chirped. "Just came by to check on the donation totals, make sure everything's transparent." I blinked. "Transparent?" She nodded, too sweetly. "You know how people talk. We just need to make sure the funds are handled properly." Her words were polite, but the tone sharp as a razor. I told her she could see every dollar accounted for, but I could already tell she didn't come for numbers. She came for drama. That night, the neighborhood WhatsApp group exploded. A message popped up from an anonymous concerned resident saying someone might be taking advantage of the community's goodwill. I didn't need to guess who sent it. Karen had probably typed it with a smirk on her face and a glass of cheap Chardonnay in hand. By the next morning, everything felt different. Neighbors who hugged me yesterday wouldn't make eye contact. The Johnsons who'd brought us dinner suddenly didn't have time to chat. Even Mrs. Turner quietly asked if she could have her donation back just until things clear up. Lily noticed too. She looked up from her bed and asked, "Dad, did we do something wrong?" That one question hit harder than any rumor. Meanwhile, Karen strutted around like a peacock, whispering to anyone who'd listen. I caught her outside the clubhouse, dramatically lowering her voice, while two women gasped in fake sympathy. They turned to look at me, one pitying, one disgusted, while Karen smiled like she just won something. But she didn't know her little game was about to backfire, because someone who knew the truth was already watching, and they were done staying quiet. By the end of the week, it felt like I was living under a microscope. Every time I stepped outside, I could feel eyes watching me, curtains twitching, conversations halting mid-sentence. Karen had turned my daughter's illness into neighborhood gossip fuel. The final straw came on Friday morning. Someone slipped an envelope under my door. Inside was a flyer, printed in bold red letters, reading, Is this a real illness or a real scam? With a photo of me and Lily from the fundraiser. My hands shook. I didn't even need to look at the fine print to know whose printer that came from. I was ready to lose it until my phone buzzed. It was Dr. Reynolds, Lily's oncologist. He lived just a few houses down, though he'd always kept his distance to maintain privacy. But this time, his tone was firm. I've heard the rumors, he said. It's disgusting. I'll handle it. That evening, he marched straight into the HOA clubhouse during one of Karen's little emergency meetings. I didn't even know there was one. Apparently, she'd called it to discuss fraudulent behavior. Classic Karen. I followed behind him as he pushed the door open. The room fell silent. Karen froze mid-sentence, her PowerPoint slide reading, "Maintaining integrity in donations." "Mrs. Simmons," Dr. Reynolds said, his voice calm but ice cold. "You've been spreading dangerous lies about my patient and her family. I have Lily's full medical documentation here, and I'll be filing a formal complaint if this continues." The room went dead quiet. Karen stammered, her usual confidence gone. I was only trying to protect the community." "From what?" he interrupted. "A sick child?" She went pale. Her friends suddenly found the floor very interesting. Even the HOA treasurer muttered something about taking this offline. Dr. Reynolds handed me the documents and gave me a nod, a silent promise that things were about to turn around. Karen tried to laugh it off, but her face said it all. She knew she'd just been caught. And for the first time, she looked scared. The next HOA meeting was packed tighter than a church on Sunday. Word had spread fast about Karen's lies, and now the entire neighborhood wanted to witness her downfall in high definition. Even the Johnsons brought snacks, popcorn to be precise. You could feel the tension humming through the air like a live wire. Karen strutted in like she was walking a red carpet, though her eyes were ringed with exhaustion. She clutched her binder like it contained state secrets. "Let's begin," she announced, pretending everything was normal, her voice wobbling under the weight of her own guilt. Dr. Reynolds stood before she could finish. "Actually, Mrs. Simmons, I'll start." His voice was calm, but cutting, the kind that silences a crowd. He placed Lily's official medical records on the table, signed treatment forms, scans, billing statements, the works. "This family's daughter has cancer. These rumors were cruel, baseless, and illegal." Gasps rippled through the room. Karen's mouth opened, but only excuses spilled out. "I was misinformed," she stammered. "I only wanted to protect the community." "From compassion?" Dr. Reynolds shot back. That was it. The crowd turned. The same neighbors who once whispered now shouted her down. The HOA lawyer, clearly mortified, cleared his throat. "Mrs. Simmons, your actions have created serious legal exposure for this association." The vote to remove her as HOA president was swift, 28-0. She grabbed her binder, muttering about defamation as she stormed out. Oh, the irony. So I gave her what she wanted, a defamation lawsuit. The case didn't last long. Between the flyers, screenshots, and the doctor's testimony, the judge ruled in my favor without hesitation. Karen was ordered to pay damages and publish a written apology. That money? It covered Lily's final treatment. A month later, Lily rang the hospital's victory bell. Her hair was growing back, her cheeks pink with life again. The sound of that bell felt like the universe itself saying, "You made it." I posted her photo online with the caption, "Hope beats hate every time." The comments overflowed with love and apologies. Karen didn't comment, but she liked the post. Court order. The end. Please like and subscribe for more HOA showdowns like this. Do you think Karen got what she deserved? Comment below.